Once within the boundaries of the castle, this was originally grazing land for holding sheep and cattle. Norwich Castle was built on an artificial mound. The stone used for its construction was from Caen in northern France and was brought by boat along the River Wensum. The same stone was also used for the construction of the Tower of London and Canterbury Cathedral. Look out for the Angel of Peace Memorial coming up to the right, commemorating the 300 Norfolk soldiers who died in the Boer War. During the Second World War, she was renamed the Flying Angel, and this was where American GIs would meet their lady friends. Around 6,000 ladies from East Anglia married American servicemen. The memorial actually depicts the Angel of Peace sheathing the sword of war. Coming up to the right is the Agricultural Hall building, built in the 1880s and now occupied by Anglia TV. In the mid-1800s, Blondin, the famous tightrope walker, walked a tightrope strung between two pillars inside the Agricultural Hall as a publicity stunt. Until the 1960s, the area immediately around the Agricultural Hall was one of the largest agricultural markets in Europe. The market was moved to the southern suburbs of the city in 1960 because of the noise, smell and overcrowding. We are approaching Tombland, the old marketplace until the arrival of the Normans in the 1060s. With over 7,000 inhabitants, the largest city in London. The Saxon word tomb means a wide open space, and even today the main roads in Norwich, such as King Street and Magdalen Street, lead to Tombland. High up to the right is the spire of Anglican Cathedral. The new Post Street Cathedral was completed in 2010 and opened by the Queen. This is our stop for Tombland and the Anglican Cathedral, as well as Elm Hill, which is one of the most traditional Tudor streets in England. The green-coloured bus coming up on the right commemorates locally born Edith Cavell, who was shot in 1915 for her assistance in the escape of Allied prisoners. Edith Cavell became a matron at a clinic in Brussels, which in 1914 was converted into a Red Cross hospital for soldiers. She played a part in helping Allied soldiers hide and escape into Holland, and was caught by the Germans and brought to trial with 35 others before a military court. Just behind the bust of Edith Cavell is Erpingham's Gate, funded and named after Sir Thomas Erpingham, who commanded the English archers in Battle of Agincourt. The Maid's Head Hotel ahead is one of the oldest hotels in the country. The spire of Norwich Cathedral to the right is 315 feet high, the second highest in England. Only Salisbury Cathedral has a taller spire. Norwich Cathedral has the largest cloister in England and the largest collection of cloisters in England. And whose statue stands in the upper close. As we go over the bridge, look to your right and you'll see part of the 19th century garden built to revitalise the country. By then, this was a petition of Yorkshire goods, which mass-produced cheaper copies of Norwich's textile products. For many years, it was the headquarters of the famous Jarrold Printing and Publishing House. As we make our way around the roundabout ahead, you will see the Norwich Public Theatre too. It is one of 19 disused medieval churches in Norwich that are now leased by a trust, which helps find suitable new uses for them. The Norwich Puppet Theatre was first opened as a public venue in 1980, following the conversion of the medieval church of St James. It is a venue dedicated to puppetry and currently houses a 197-seat rated auditorium, a 50-seat optical studio, workshops, an exhibition gallery, shop, and offices. The Norwich Puppet Theatre has been centre of Norwich. As the bus makes its way up the hill, please ensure you remain seated and watch out for any branches from overhanging trees, especially if you are seated on the left-hand side of the bus. We're going to be travelling up Gurney Road, which is named after the Gurneys, a Quaker family who made their fortune in the cloth trade and began Barclay's Bank. Many Gilbert and Sullivan musical trial version, there is a line about it being as rich as the Gurneys. Elizabeth Park, the prison reformer, was born in Norwich into a branch of the Gurney family and lived for a while in Earl. The site now is occupied by the University of Glasgow. Norwich was not a Roman town. The main town for the Romans in Norfolk was called Norwich and was near Caister St Edmund, 5 miles south of the city.
Jesus Christ, someone had branches is pretty close.
And in the 10th century had its own mint and was the largest provincial city in the most densely populated area in England. If we turn right, you will see Norwich Prison coming up to our left. The modern prison is behind the buildings you will see shortly. These were built in the late 1800s to replace the prison of the castle. Alongside the old prison are the Britannia Barracks, originally built for the Norfolk Regiment. Various former inmates of the prison include the racing jockey Mr. Piggott, who was imprisoned for tax evasion, and the Right Honourable John Stonehouse, the former aviation minister and Postmaster General, who faked his own suicide to escape from his debts. More recently, Norwich Prison was housed by the martyr while he was on trial, the farmer who was controversially convicted of manslaughter after he shot a teenage intruder in his Norfolk farmhouse. In July 2007, the great train robber Ronnie Biggs was transferred to Norwich Prison to a wing specially adapted for elderly inmates. This is our stop at Britannia Cafe and Mousehold Heath. Norwich is situated southwest of here, and you can clearly see the spire of Norwich Cathedral, which is home to a pair of peregrine falcons, who have reared 2 chicks in each of the last 4 years. Just behind the cathedral spire is the clock tower of the City Hall. To the left of City Hall are the parish church of St Peter Mancroft and the Norman Castle. Further back and to the right of the Norwich Cathedral spire is the square tower of the Roman Catholic Cathedral of Norwich. This is the largest Roman Catholic cathedral in England outside London. Norwich has more medieval churches within a square mile than in all of London, York and Bristol added together. 32 now remain out of an original 56. This makes it the largest collection of medieval churches north of the Alps, minute compared to Rome, which has over 300. Aircraft assembled by Boulton and Paul were test flown from Mousehold Heath in the early 1900s. The Norfolk and Norwich Aero Club was formed at Mousehold Heath in 1927, and in 1933 it became Norwich Airport. With the onset of World War II, the airfield fell into disuse and later moved to its present site north of the city. We will now be making our way back down to view the river. Please take care of any loose overhanging branches, especially if you're sitting on the left-hand side of the bus. In the year 1549, Mousehold Heath was where about 20,000 followers of Robert Kett camped, having been refused entry into Norwich. It took 2 royal armies to tackle them. They were defeated 6 weeks later. Robert Kett was hanged at Norwich Castle and his body left there as an example. His brother William was hanged from the top of the tower. Out of a minor rebellion in England, complaining of overbearing landlords and increased rents and unenclosure of land, and developed into a major crisis between Edward VI. Kett's armies attracted considerable support, and altogether 300 rebels were executed. The city of Norwich has been kept alive by its industries and their versatility and willingness to adapt to change. Visitors to Norwich will at least have heard of some of the local industries, probably none more so than the name of Coleman's. Jeremiah Coleman began making mustard at a mill in Stoke Holy Cross, eventually moving to Norwich to be nearer the new railway line when it opened in the 1850s. much further than this, notably the textile industry and the shoemaking industry. Traditionally, boots and shoes were made and worked with the extra money earned at harvest time in preparation for the coming winter. Britain's oldest shoemaking company was opened here in Norwich in 1792 by James Smith. They later changed their name to Start Right, and they specialise in children's shoes. We will shortly be travelling alongside the River Wensum, the reason Norwich was originally developed. The early settlers came up the river to establish small settlements here in the 5th to the 7th centuries. This area was favoured due to good farming land and the availability of water. There are 7 rivers rising from an abundance of settlements within 20 miles of Norwich. The River Wensum encircles half of the city to the east and north and joins with the River Yare to the south and east. There is no wall in this part of the city, the river being the canals. Coming up to the right is the stone Bishop's Bridge, which dates back to 1340. This is the oldest bridge in Norwich and one of the oldest in the country. A large gatehouse was originally built on the bridge to guard the entrance to the city. Over the bridge to the right is situated the Great Hospital, which was founded in 1249. It is the oldest open hospital Timbers used to make in the country. Up to the cathedral. This was the final stage of the journey for the Normandy stone being brought by boat from France to build the cathedral and the castle. Paul's Ferry is named after James Paul, who operated the ferry for 45 years until his death in 1841. This area of the river was for many centuries accessible for specially built trading vessels or wherries, and Norwich's woven cloth was sold as far afield as North America, Russia and the Far East, making Norwich second only to London. Many visitors to Norwich take a boat trip on the Norfolk Broads, the nearby inland network of navigable waterways. It is thought that the Norfolk Broads are the result of extensive peat digging, which was used as fuel for about 500 years, from the mid-800s to the 1400s. The areas left by the peat digging became a network of navigable waterways and is now the only lowland national park in England of over 190 square miles and has 125 miles of navigable waterway. We are making our way towards our stop for Thorpe Railway Station, which was originally designed to look like a country house, to complement the many country houses that can be seen in Norfolk. Several of these houses are owned by the National Trust and are open to the public. This is our stop for the railway station and the riverside port. Thorpe Station was the first railway station to be built in Norwich in 1844, connecting Norwich to Yarmouth. 5 years later, a line between London and Norwich was built. The meadowland around the station was developed to take advantage of the rail and river transport connections. More recently, the area around the station has been redeveloped and is now known as the Riverside Quarter. The area around the railway station was once the home of the aircraft factory. This was began as an ironmonger's in Norwich in the late 1700s and later branched out into general industrial manufacturing. In the early 1800s, Tottenham Port sold hundreds of tons of wire netting to the Australian government to control the Bomber 101 was built here, and also the first metal biplane bomber, the Side Strand. Coming into view is the home of Norwich City Football. The Carrow Road formed in June 1902. By 1907, this name came from the birds that were popular with the 16th century Dutch immigrants, most of whom were cloth workers. The canary motif is a prominent feature of the Norwich Football Club badge. One of Norwich City Football Club's high points was in 1985, when they won the League Cup at Wembley 1-0 against Sunderland. In October 1993, Norwich became the first English League club to beat Bayern Munich in Munich. In 1999, the catering in the stadium became the responsibility of Canary Catering, set up by TV chef Delia Smith, the largest selling cookbook writer in the UK, a high-profile supporter of the Canaries and member of the board of directors. The Carrow Road Stadium has the distinction of being the lowest-lying football ground in the English Football League, only 2 metres above sea level.